everyone. I'm Brian Reynolds, the Chancellor of the Archdiocese of Louisville. Welcome to our podcast series, What's New in ArchLou. This show highlights the people and ministries of the Archdiocese, the Catholic Church in Central Kentucky. Join us each month as we welcome guests to discuss our local church and invite you to get more involved as you deepen your engagement with your Catholic faith. This program is brought to you by the ArchLou Podcast Network. My goodness, 2025 is running by. We're in the middle of the fall already. Thanks for being with us, our listeners, our viewers from all over the place. We're having great responses. Thanks for tuning in again this month. Today, as is our habit, we have another set of great guests. And our topic is going to discuss the permanent diaconate. This is something that people know just a little bit about, and by the end of this show, you're going to know a lot more. We have two guests. Dr. DeKarlos Blackmon is the Vice Chancellor for Pastoral Services and the Director of our Diaconal Ministry. And we also have Deacon Mark Preischel. He's the Associate Director of Diaconal Ministry and Formation. And we're going to listen and learn about both of them. Let me tell you a little bit before they get to talk. But both of you, welcome first.
Thank you.
Before coming to the Archdiocese, Dr. Blackmon served as the director of the Secretariat for Life, Charity, and Justice of the Diocese of Austin in Texas. He also served as Supreme Knight and Chief Executive Officer of the Knights of Peter Claver. In addition, he had some time working in parish ministry, in music and other things. He can really sing, by the way, but we're not going to sing today. He also served the United States Army Chaplain Corps. He's been married for 23 years to the Zenobia Russell Blackmon, who also serves the Archdiocese as our Chief Communications Officer. Now, Deacon Mark and his wife Holly have been married for 24 years and have one daughter, Hope. He was ordained a deacon in 2020 and is assigned to St. Alfred the Great Parish. Deacon Mark is originally from Buffalo, and before coming to the Archdiocese, he worked for United Parcel Services. And so if you see a brown truck driving by, think of Deacon Mark. He worked in the airline aircraft engineering work there for 23 years. He joined the Office of Diaconal Ministry as Associate Director back in February of 2023. So those are your formal introductions. I'm going to talk to you more personally. Tell us, besides all that, what more can you share a little bit about yourselves? DeKarlos, how about you get us started?
Well, I've been engaged in ecclesial ministry for many, many years. I know that I look too young to have all of these years behind me in ministry, but it's been a joy, the work that I've done in parochial ministry and diocesan ministry and in movements, lay associations of the faithful, particularly, as you mentioned, the Knights of Peter Claver Incorporated, and I was privileged to serve as president of the International Alliance of Catholic Knights. Kenobi and I just returned to the United States from South Africa for the Biennial Council meeting. So I just have a wide range of experience in pastoral ministry. So hopefully that's been a gift since I've been here.
Okay, now to trick you. Besides doing work, all that ecclesial work, what do you do for fun?
I walk and I play the piano.
Very good.
Yeah.
Terrific. All right. Deacon Mark, how about you? Besides what I introduced you and UPS and Buffalo and all that, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I got my bachelor's and my master's degree in aerospace engineering from University of Cincinnati. And that's where my wife and I were both at UC at the same time. We just didn't know each other. We met each other later. And then from there, I just got my master's degree in theology from St. Meinrad's this last summer.
Very good.
That was a big accomplishment this late in life.
And your daughter Hope?
She is a music student up at Northwestern in Chicago. Great. So she is vocal music and music arrangement. So
that's terrific. Same question I gave to Carlos. What do you do for fun?
Usually read. I'm a reader.
Are you a reader?
So, yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So, all right. Thank you both for being here and sharing a little bit about yourselves. Our topic is way simple, but there's a lot of misinformation. I hope we're going to clarify today, but also learn some stuff together. Let's start with a little bit of history. The permanent diaconate is not something new. It was actually restarted in the 1970s, but its history goes way back to the early church. But older Catholics will remember there was a time there were no deacons. DeKarlos, help us let's do a little bit of history lesson for folks. What can you tell us about the history of the diaconate?
Well, in the early church, deacons played a role in supporting the community, particularly widows, those in need, while assisting bishops and priests during worship. It's important to understand that the diaconate was not merely a transitional phase as people would consider, maybe 60, 70 years ago between a seminarian becoming a priest. It was a permanent role then, and it's nice that that role has come back. I think the succinct response to your question would be that the diaconate originated as an apostolic response taking care of people in terms of pastoral care and service.
And can you tell us why do you think the church said about 50 years ago, because that had disappeared for a while. The transitional deacon, with the usually about a year before you're ordained a priest, you're ordained a deacon, and you do certain ministries as you're moving towards priesthood, different amounts of time. But in the early 70s, they returned to the Holy See, brought it back as a particular office, the permanent diaconate, and the emphasis is there on you're not heading to something else. This is the role you have. Why did that happen?
I think it's important to understand that deacons embody the role of Christ the servant more so than Christ the priest. So it's not as much the focus on priesthood as it is that focus on being Christ the servant. So I think it's important for that to be back. Those things that were done in the early church are important today and every day.
Okay. And when you think about it, if someone were to ask you to do the elevator speech then on what is the role of the deacon, you gave us a formal thing, but when someone asks, so what does a deacon do? And I know that's a resisted language because they don't just do things. But what is the role of a deacon, DeKarlos?
I think the role of the deacon is to proclaim the word, as we often see during liturgy, but it's also about the works of charity and justice. I think it's important to understand that when we see tangibly the deacon in the sanctuary, the deacon not only bringing Christ to us in terms of Holy Communion, but it's also a natural tie that representing us there before the throne of grace.
Okay. Let's go to Deacon Mark now. Let's make it a little personal since you're the deacon in this conversation. Why did you become a deacon?
It was actually just a natural continuation of the ministries I was already doing.
Okay.
At my parish of St. Albert, I was already a lector. I was a communion minister for both in the parish and at the nursing homes. And I was teaching OCIA once in a while and helping with the OCIA group. Mm-hmm. And so these are all diaconal roles, and I just didn't realize I was doing them at the time until the deacon at our parish pointed it out to me and said, "You're already doing many diaconal things. Have you ever thought of becoming a deacon?"
Yeah. Very good. So when you make that decision, you enter into a formation program. Tell us just an overview of the formation program. And I know that in this archdiocese today, that's a project we do along with St. Meinrad's. So
yes.
Seminary. So let's talk about the formation first, and then we'll get to St. Meinrad's.
Okay. So the formation program, we start a new cohort every 4 years. Okay. The process takes 5 years. So years 1 and 5, we have overlapping guys, which is nice because it allows those that are almost finished to mentor some of the new guys and
be a sign of hope.
Yes, exactly.
You come out the other end of this. Okay.
Yes, exactly. You can actually survive. During the first year, backing up, we meet 1 weekend a month for 10 months. And then during the summer months, we have a retreat up at St. Minard typically, but so there's a 3-day retreat.
Mm-hmm.
During the first year of formation, we just meet on Saturday, pretty much all day. That's a time to focus on things like discernment, the sacraments, prayer, and actually on writing. Mm-hmm. Most of the guys who are becoming deacons haven't written a paper in 20 years, and so there's definitely a reason to.
You're back in school now. So
exactly. Yeah. There's definitely reason to practice and relearn how to write. And then years 2 through 5, we get more into the intellectual piece. Those are those weekends start on Friday evening and end Sunday afternoon. Mm-hmm. We're definitely doing more intellectual pieces, ecclesiology, theology, things like that, scripture study, and then also some of the practicals, liturgy, homiletics, etc. So
very good. I know it's intentional, so I'm going to set you both up with this phrase. I know it's intentional to talk about our formation program and not a training program, because it's more than just one thing. Formation. Tell me about that word, formation.
The difference between formation and training is formation is about the whole person.
Okay.
As I said, we start off talking about prayer and sacraments, but during the formation program, we're heavily involved with and participating in prayer and sacraments. As part of our weekends, we are meeting for Liturgy of the Hours, morning and evening prayer during the weekend. We celebrate, we have a priest come in to celebrate Mass for us. Mm-hmm. On Saturday evening, and so we can celebrate the Eucharist as a community, as our own little mini community. So that's the difference.
Can you add to that, DeKarlos? Formation.
Well, I think that Deacon Mark's response was very good. It's about the disposition of the person, the interior disposition. It's important to consider not only the theological formation and the understanding, but how the person is changed. You know, looking at formation as an ongoing process, we learn so very often by doing. Very often when I meet with some of our permanent deacons, I always ask the question, Deacon, where are we in the rhythms of prayer? Uh-huh. Because those who we find that have whatever struggles in their lives, we have found that there is an absence of actually being in the rhythms of prayer, being buttressed always by those ongoing conversations with the Lord. But also, I think, Dr. Reynolds, it's being in community. That's also a part of that ongoing formation, being in fellowship with one another.
Very good. As you know, people see the deacon in our parishes at the other end of this, but this whole process of 5 years of formation, and I know before that there's always whatever's going on in the man's life thinking about it. So this is not like a moment in time. This is a whole process. Mm-hmm. I want to ask both of you to help us with the concept of the characteristics of a deacon. Now, you can go there a lot of different ways. You can make it personal or functional or other things. But if someone say to describe a deacon as opposed to what they do, what are the characteristics? Maybe the characteristics of a healthy deacon, a good deacon. What are the characteristics? They're all good, I know, but what are the characteristics?
Well, I think the first characteristic of a deacon would be to have a healthy spiritual disposition.
Good.
So to be a man of deep spiritual prayer, one who is engaged already in the works of charity and service because it is who you are, your very being. I think a characteristic would be someone who is always engaging when something is happening that needs the service of another, you're engaging in that because it is second nature to you. So I think that when we look at the characteristics of a deacon, we have many people among the laity who are already engaged in that ministry of service by their very being.
Okay. Deacon Mark, characteristics.
First characteristic I would say would be humility.
Oh, good. Okay.
Doing ministry as a deacon is not about what I want to do in the church. It really is about what the church needs me to do and what the church is asking me to do. So it's being humble and knowing you're going to be asked to do things that may be uncomfortable or that you may not want to do. But you're going to do them anyway.
So it's not about what I get to do.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not about what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I'm being asked to do, and therefore what I'm going to say yes to.
That's a wonderful characteristic.
So,
yeah, humility. Great.
Humility.
Great.
And then another thing is balance. Deacons have lay jobs. They work out in the workplace. So they have those requirements. They have family requirements. And the church is asking them to do things as well. So I think balance and being able to figure out how to balance all of those tugs and all of those requirements for your time.
Because you're a deacon all the time. You're not just a deacon when you're on duty.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, very
And
good.
then finally, similar to what Dr. DeKarlos says, prayer. A man of prayer, because it's only through prayer, reflection, time in front of the Blessed Sacrament that you are able to be both humble and balanced.
Very good. Now, obviously, you both have hinted at it already. Let's think about where a typical parishioner would encounter a deacon. I think both of you have started a little bit about we see them at church at the altar. DeKarlos, help us understand this a little bit. When you think about encountering a deacon, where is a typical parishioner going to see, oh, that's what the deacon is?
I think in many of our parishes, we may encounter our deacons teaching OCIA at baptisms, committals. But at the same time, you will see the deacon in the soup kitchen. I think we have wonderful examples of deacons here in the Archdiocese, like Deacon Mike Jones, the great work that he is doing. We see deacons in works of service. We see them in works of charity, in addition to just a deacon being in a stole and a dalmatic, looking beautiful in the sanctuary for the Sunday Eucharist.
So though that's where they would see them,
Mm-hmm.
the encounter with the deacon is not just observing him at the altar assisting the
Mm-hmm.
priest, but has their own rights, and that's both RITES and RIGHT.
That's right.
They're doing things
That's right.
that comes with their ordination. Can you add to that, Deacon Mark? Anything about where we encounter deacons?
I think another place is in marriage prep. Deacons and wives, the fact that they are married, have some practical experience, and therefore I think that's a commonplace that a lot of parishes ask the deacons and their wives to help with marriage prep and to help with the wedding preparation. So
You guessed where my next question was. Let's talk about the wife of a deacon, because most of our deacons are married. So DeKarlos, the role of the deacon's wife, and then Mark, I'm going to ask you about your experience, and maybe you have to get your wife in here to answer that question. but let's start with DeKarlos. What's the role of the deacon's wife?
One of the things we try to impart to the wives of men in formation is that it requires the wife's yes in addition to the man's yes to the church in terms of formation for the diaconate.
Tell us why.
So I think it's really important that the wife is supportive of her husband's role serving the church as a deacon.
Okay.
The wife's role in the church is also to be a person of spiritual fitness, an exemplar. That covenant made in marriage has to be the exemplar for the whole community, that she is with him. Now, I don't want to give the impression that I'm just talking about stand by your man, but I think to a certain extent it's important to look at the wife as being one with the husband and participating in the ministry as one, because he is not separate from her, and the church recognizes that. So we look at wives sometimes with this idea that, the wife takes care of the home. But I would like to think that Archbishop Shelton and I would say that a good deacon, an exemplary deacon, would be ensuring that his charity begins at home. So I think the oneness of the couple and the wife in supporting the husband in that ministry, it should be fully integrated.
And the wife's invited, am I right, to go through the formation program alongside her husband?
Well, I think it's nice to say invited. Dr. Blackmon would say required.
Okay, very good. All right, so it is the yes among both their parts. Now, how does that play out then for us? Help us, Deacon Mark. What is having being a married churchman that I am, but I'm not a deacon. So tell me about it, being a married deacon.
Well, Holly adds a lot to my ministry.
Okay.
In some cases, it may just be practical. She previews all my homilies, and when we have discussions or when I'm struggling with something, it's nice to be able to bounce things off of her.
Sure.
She's been through the same formation that I have, so she knows what the expectations are. She knows what the church is asking me to do, but it's nice to have the woman's input. And in my case, Holly's case, occasionally the input of somebody who didn't grow up Catholic. How did this homily come across? Oh, well, that didn't sound the way I thought it did.
So you have your first critic.
Exactly. So,
very good.
But other than that, Holly really enjoys helping me with my ministry. But she has her own ministries too. At St. Albert's, she is very much involved in music. And so I know on a Wednesday night, if I have a committal or a meeting or something that I need to attend, I'm not even going to ask her, because I know she will be at choir practice on Wednesday nights.
That's very good.
So, and she's made that abundantly clear that she will be at choir practice. So
very good. So I bet when you... I would assume, even all the length of going through a 5-year formation process, having your spouse go through that with you makes that process uniquely helpful too. Huh?
It does. And the other advantage is we got to grow together, together in our faith. Yeah. So there's that as well. All of the diaconate brings us closer together in our marriage.
So in the church today, there's many things always going on, and the diaconate's part of this. I know you've already said the deacons do, besides the liturgical world and education, teaching, formation, and OCIA, and then the charitable work and so forth. Help us. What are the challenges that deacons face in the church today? That's a kind of a personal question. It's not intellectual, guys. I'm looking for when someone says what's on their mind, what's on their hearts, what's the challenges they face. Can you share us any insights into that? That's a little personal. Can anybody help us with the challenges?
I would say the challenges a deacon faces are inherent in the paradox that is the deacon in the modern church. The deacon is both a cleric and yet has a lay job. Pulled in both directions there. He's both a cleric, yet has a wife and a family in many cases. So being a deacon means service, means saying yes. We inherently, we automatically tend to say yes to things, as we've already talked about. And saying yes all that time can lead us to become a little overburdened, overworked. And so having that knowledge to when it is okay to say no. That's the other role of the deacon's wife, is to occasionally remind the deacon to say no. But to say no, because burnout has a negative effect on your ministry in the end. Sure. I think the other thing that I would say is that around our holidays, Christmas, Easter, these are very, very busy times in the church, and all of the time leading up to it. Again, very busy, and the church has expectations that we'll be participating in all of the rites and all of the liturgies associated with them. Yet at the same time, our wives, our families, our kids expect Dad to be there for Christmas and Easter. So, not to say that our priests don't feel these same tensions between family and ministry, that they also don't face issues with burnout. But I do think the deacon, unfortunately, is unique in that role.
That is a wonderful imagery you've already just laid out for us, is the dichotomy then of I'm this, but I'm also this.
Yes.
I'm this. Boy, that is just really excellent. Really, that's a wonderful way to image it. We could have started and done the whole show just on that. Thank you, Deacon Mark. DeKarlos, help us before we wrap up. What if someone says, I might be interested at, they've heard our show today, or they've been observing, or something's been on their heart for a while. How does someone start if they're interested in thinking about being a deacon? Where do they begin?
Let me say, I can see Deacon Mark grinning. And Deacon Mark is grinning because he knows that I'm going to say to all of your viewers and listeners that they should reach out to Deacon Mark.
Okay, pass the buck. That's very good.
I knew that one was coming.
Okay, then what do they do?
So it really is, the process is contacting the office, but at the same time, we are looking for guys who are already active in their parishes. Right. So they should be having discussions with their pastor already as to, do you think I would be a good deacon? Tell me more about the diaconate. So those are really the first steps, is to be engaged in your parish, engaged with your pastor.
Yeah.
And then reach out to this office.
Good. I know we say this when we often talk about vocations to every ministry. Might be a good time to remind our viewers and listeners, if you see someone and you wonder, I wonder if they could be a good deacon, you ought to tap them on the shoulder and say that to them, huh? Because vocation work gets nurtured from all sorts of directions.
Yes, definitely.
It's October, and that means it's the time for the Catholic Services Appeal. The Office of the Diaconate and the Formation Program are funded by the donations to the Catholic Services Appeal. DeKarlos, can you talk to us about the support CSA makes to this ministry, how it makes it possible?
I think we are blessed in the Church of Louisville, the benefits of the Catholic Services Appeal, because in many dioceses, there are a number of different funding sources in other dioceses for diaconal formation. The work that is done in the Diaconal Ministry office by the benevolence of the people through the CSA is really second to none, in relation to other dioceses across the country. So the CSA is integral to funding this ministry to support the whole people of God in this local church.
That's a good commercial because it is true. And we have a very large diaconate program here for a diocese our size, and I love the fact that literally thousands of people who support the local archdiocese through the Catholic Services Appeal, therefore, are supporting the diaconate program.
That's right.
So they're doing that funding. And so for our listeners and viewers, since it's Catholic Services Appeal time, we're going to take a little stop here in the show before we wrap up and have a message directly from Archbishop Shelton. This is his annual CSA video. Stay tuned.
My dear brothers and sisters in Christ, I greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, and I welcome you to the 2025 Catholic Services Appeal. As we continue to journey together in this Jubilee year of hope, the theme of this year's appeal is giving hope to all. For truly the Catholic Services Appeal is the way in which we, as one local church, work together to bring the hope of Jesus Christ to everyone in our archdiocese. Just as those who went before us laid the foundation of the church here in central Kentucky, it is our obligation, yours and mine, to bring the hope of Jesus Christ to future generations. Walk with me as we learn more about the life-giving ministries and the programs that provide hope in every corner of our archdiocese. Through your loving support, the Catholic Services Appeal brings hope to life in every parish and for every parishioner in our archdiocese. The CSA funds a multitude of ministries, including family and youth ministry, supporting and strengthening our families, and promoting the dignity of life from conception to natural death. Evangelization, including radio, television, and social media ministries, the Catholic newspaper The Record, and other public relations. Multicultural ministry, promoting the holistic development of our growing and diverse Catholic communities. The Office of Catholic Schools, serving and engaging young people in our Catholic schools, each with its own unique history, spirit, and traditions, and preparing graduates to live their faith as adults, providing Christian leadership for the church and the community. Retired priest, funding and caring for our retired priests who have served so faithfully for so many years, many of whom continue to assist pastors and parishes in need of assistance throughout the Archdiocese. Hispanic ministry, providing opportunities to invite, engage, and strengthen the participation of the Hispanic community in the life of the local church. Faith formation, providing ministerial support, formation, and training to all parishes and parish staffs and parishioners, including students in parish religious education programs. Catholic campus ministry, sharing the love of Jesus and providing resources to support Catholic students at colleges and universities within our archdiocese. Catholic charities, providing support and resources to the poor, the needy, the elderly throughout the archdiocese. Catholic cemeteries, offering the sacred rite of Christian burial to the Catholic community and providing resources and support to every Catholic cemetery in the 24 counties of the Archdiocese of Louisville. Every dollar you give goes directly to support services for people and for parishes. The Catholic Services Appeal also provides funding for seminarian education. I'm excited to share with you that the number of seminarians in formation in the Archdiocese has increased again this year. This is a wonderful blessing, but it also requires increased funding to support these seminarians on their journey to priesthood. We need your help to make this possible. Please give generously to the Seminarian Education Fund when you make your gift to the appeal. My brothers and sisters, we walk together on this journey of life. Certainly, we face challenges and trials, but as Catholics, we have hope. The hope that comes from our faith, the hope of spending eternity with our Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus calls us to share that hope with others. The Catholic Services Appeal is one of the most impactful ways that we can do this, funding outreach and support for every parish. I ask that you give generously, experiencing the great joy that comes from sharing your gifts with others. Know of my love, know of my prayers, know of my great gratitude for every one of you. May God grant you his love and abundantly bless you.
All right, we thank Archbishop Shelton for that message, and thanks to all of you to consider an opportunity to be generous with the gifts God has given you for the people of God, for this local church. I want to thank Dr. Blackmon. DeKarlos, you've been a great addition to our diocesan staff, and I thank you for your service every day and the wisdom you bring. Deacon Mark, for your service, first as a deacon, as a member of St. Albert's Church, but also now as you work with us in the Archdiocese, providing good care and informing of our deacons. So thank you both for being here today. These insights, as you see with our shows, this is always one of those things that could go on and many other things we could talk about. But as an introduction, I know now people know to call you, Deacon Mark, not Dr. Blackmon, and we know some great images there. So let's also keep prayerfully in mind our deacons themselves, them and their spouses, the great work that they do. The church would not be as blessed if they weren't doing the work that they do. So we thank you, our listeners, for joining us on What's New in ArchLou. Tune again next month.